Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the brand new KOKIE Cosmetics Skin Perfect HD Foundation. Now this was sent to me by KOKIE themselves, and they also sent me a little foundation brush. And real quick, I want to get into a little backstory just because I feel like it's very important to know things about companies. If you did not watch the video where I did a full face of reviews using KOKIE Cosmetics, make sure you go check that out. I will link it in the description box below and also at the end of this video in a card, because KOKIE Cosmetics actually reached out to me after I made that video and asked to send me products to review, and I thought it was so crazy because that review video was pretty brutally honest. There were a few things in that video that I absolutely loved, but for the most part I wasn't a big fan of the majority of the stuff I tried. And I think it's so refreshing that a company would be this professional and this mature. They just want honesty and they just want constructive criticism so that they can better their brand. So I just want to share that little backstory with you because I think it's important to know the behind the scenes and how companies really are. So when they sent this to me, they said that this wasn't even in stores yet, but I do find it on Walmart.com, and I feel like they probably have it on display now. They have 15 shades, and this is $12.98 at Walmart. It says a mid-coverage natural finish foundation that offers flawless high-def perfection in every light, buildable coverage, and a satin finish. They sent me the shade 30W. Now this did match me when I first tried it, but I have self-tanned since then, so it may be a little lighter than my skin tone, but we're gonna try to make it work. And then they also sent me their foundation brush, so it's like a little tiny, dense, round brush. So they don't have it on Walmart.com from what I see, but they do have it on the KOKIE Cosmetics website for $16, which I feel like is a little pricey for a foundation brush in the drugstore. On one side of my face, I'll be using the foundation brush that they sent me, and on the other side, I'll be using my Real Technique sponge, which usually tends to be my favorite application method. So you do get 1.01 fluid ounces of product, which is just a little bit over the standard amount that you get. You usually get just 1 fluid ounce. It does come with a really nice pump, which I think is awesome. So here's how it pumps out. I feel like you can't really control a whole lot of how much product you get though. I feel like it's just the standard amount comes out. So here's what the color and consistency looks like. It's a little more runny, but I would say this is more of like a medium consistency. But as you can see, it is dripping down my hand a little bit, so it looks like it's gonna be a fairly thin foundation. I do like this shade because it's a really nice like warm yellow undertone, and it's really hard to find good yellow undertone shades in the drugstore. So let's see, on this side of my face I'll use the foundation brush. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to one side. So right off the bat, I do feel like the brush is a little small for my liking. I'm used to using pretty large dense foundation brushes, whereas this one is good for like around your eyes, like in little small corners and small areas of your face. It's just not going to cover a very wide area, which may take a little bit longer to apply. It is blending out really, really nicely. I am going to try to build this up as usual and see the maximum coverage you can get out of this. But right now with the first layer, it's looking like it's just going to be a low medium coverage maybe. So here's the side using a brush. It has a really, really pretty satin finish. I do agree with that claim, and it just looks really radiant and very healthy looking. I would prefer some more coverage. Like usually I like full coverage or a very high medium coverage, so I am hoping that I can build this up a little bit more. So now I'm gonna go in with my damp sponge and apply it on this side. I forgot to mention, it is 1:43 right now. There is the time, because I don't want to get too far into the video and then I would have had it on for like 45 minutes. The sponge is obviously soaking up more product, and I feel like I'm having to use more on this side because with the other side using the brush, I did have a little bit left over on my hand, but I've almost used everything. I just squirted out. But I will say I'm pretty impressed with the foundation brush because it didn't streak or look patchy or anything. It did apply it very beautifully. My skin just looks very poreless, and it's like the foundation meshes with your skin, like unifies with it very nicely instead of just sitting on top of the surface. I think I actually like the brush side better, which is very, very rare. I just had to use way too much product on this side, and it just didn't give me the best coverage. So I'm going to try to build it up. I'm going to go back in on the right side using the brush and try to build it up a little bit more. So that is doing a little bit better as far as coverage goes. It's still definitely not full coverage, but I would say it's probably a higher medium coverage, but really I didn't get a whole lot more. But it doesn't claim to be full coverage, so I can't hold that against it. But it does look more even. I will say it's looking like it doesn't really want to sit very well right here next to my nose. Like I've been trying to blend and it just seems like it just keeps like getting oily looking right there, like the crevices in my nose. Like, I don't know if this would be a good product for people with oily skin. By the way, forgot to mention, once again, I have oily combination skin, but it's pretty normalized. I usually don't have a problem with getting shiny or oily throughout the day. So I just can't give up on my sponge. So I'm gonna go back in one more time and just see if it layers better with a sponge. Maybe you could go in with the brush starting off and then go in with your sponge for your second layer, because I just love the finish that a sponge gives. Okay, so here's what the foundation looks like with 2 layers now. I'm actually really impressed. My pores look minimized. So right now it is 1:52. So I'm gonna go off camera and finish up the rest of my makeup, then I'll come back and show you what it all looks like. Okay guys, so I'm back with the rest of my makeup on, and I did sit for a few minutes after I got done applying the foundation to see how it would set, to see if it would feel tacky, or to see if it would set to a different finish. And it did start setting and drying down, but it still had that tacky feel to it. So I don't feel like this is the type of foundation where you could skip out on powder. Even if you have dry skin, I would still say set it with some kind of powder. By the way guys, I forgot to mention that I'm not sponsored or affiliated or paid or anything to make this video and talk about KOKIE Cosmetics in general. I just wanted to do this video in light of them sending me a product. So everything on top of the foundation looks very soft and very smooth. Even though it wasn't full coverage and I had to build it up a little bit, like I don't see my blemishes around here. Like there's not really anything peeking through. I will keep a close eye on this little situation around my nose to see if it breaks down anymore, because I do have a feeling that this will start like fading and getting oily. So since this is supposed to be an HD foundation, I want to see how it looks with a flash test. I want to see if it has any flashback or anything. So this photographs very well. My skin looks very airbrushed. It looks like it has a filter on, and I don't, I promise. We're gonna say 1:45 for my check-in time, because that's about the time that I started applying it, and I didn't have it completely applied at that time, but I did have a lot of it on, and I got a late start, so yeah. I'm back for my final check-in of the night. It is now 10:41, so I've had this on since about 1:45, so going on 9 hours. So here's what this side looks like. I did have a little mascara flake smear right here that I never got off, so don't mind that. But everything is looking pretty good. I am fairly impressed. Like from here back, looks pretty good. My concern is mainly with how it looks kind of in my T-zone. On my nose, it has pretty much smeared off the entire tip of it. See, I kind of look like Rudolph. So it looks like there's foundation all around here, and then at the very tip, it is just completely smeared off. Then up here, in my little 11 marks, there is a little bit of cakiness and just a little bit of settling, and there is some caking and a little bit of settling and kind of fading off right through here, but not really as bad as I thought it would be. Everything on top of the foundation held up pretty well, and there's not really a whole lot of fading back here where I normally notice the first signs of fading. Really the only issues I see is that there is a little bit of cakiness around my nose area. So I have had glasses on, but right through here, it's kind of bunching up on both sides. I do not think this is a bad foundation at all. I do think a lot of people will like this. Will I gravitate towards it a lot? Probably not, just because of the coverage. If you're someone with pretty clear skin and it's pretty normal, I don't think you would have any problems. I think you would love this foundation. If you like a medium coverage, a really pretty flawless satin finish. I do want to do another flash test just to see if anything's changed, so we'll go ahead and do that. You never know, if it wears off, it may cause flashback. So it's still doing a pretty good job. There's not really a whole lot of flashback or anything. I will say my picture from earlier does look better. It looks more flawless and there's less of a flashback. But overall, I think this is a very good foundation for photography. So I feel like I need to play around with it a little bit more and wear it some more before I determine who I think it's going to be good for. But I feel like maybe the reason it didn't hold up so well in my T-zone is because I do have more of an oily T-zone. So if you have super oily skin, I don't think this foundation would work very well for you. But if you have normal, dry, or combination skin, I don't think you'd have very many problems. As far as the brush goes, I do like this brush with it. I think it did apply it very beautifully. Do I think it's worth $16? No. I feel like that's a little steep for the drugstore foundation brush. If this were like $10, I would say this would be worth it, especially because there aren't very many drugstore brushes out there. I mean, this basically looks just like a smaller version of the Morphe G3 brush. I mean, they look identical. So has this become my new favorite holy grail foundation? No. I will play around with different products to see if I can fix the T-zone problem, because it may be a matter of the powder I used. It could be other variables than the foundation. I will give you guys some updates either on Instagram or Snapchat or in the description box. So that is it for this video, and there is a gnat flying around my face. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've tried this foundation, then please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below and what kind of skin you have. So thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe, follow me on all my social media. All the links are below, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Mwah.